What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I'm your host, Anthony. Welcome back to Wheal Talk. I'm very excited for today's interview. Today, I got my boy, Sam.
Hello, Tony.
Sam, how you doing,
I'm
man?
Good, I'm good.
Chilling, bro, chilling. So, real quick, you guys, I'm going to just give you a little get down how I know Sam. I met Sam through wheelchair basketball. He's involved in some of the teams that are right here in San Diego, and he's a great player. I've played with him quite a few times. We've gone to certain wheelchair events together as well with his family, his wife, his kids. So I just want to bring him here because I believe he has an awesome story, and I respect stories that come with the struggle. You know, everybody here has a sad story, man. I have a sad story. I'm in a wheelchair. He has a sad story. He's in a wheelchair. But I believe it's what we do with that sad story, because everybody has one, right? And so today, Sam, you know, I'm gonna interview you real quick just to get to know you.
Yes.
Real quick, Sam. This is what I like to do in an introduction, right? I usually like to say your name, what is your level of injury, and how long have you been in the wheelchair, right? So, for example, I'm Anthony. My level is a T6 injury, and I've been in the wheelchair for 13 years, right? Correct. So go ahead, Sam. Let's start off with an introduction. Your name, how long you been in the chair, and your injury.
My name is Samuel Nehemiah, and I'm 53 right now. I was 4 years old when I had polio. So I've been using wheelchair for a while now.
For a while?
4 years old. We're talking about almost 40-something years old.
Wow. So you're an OG in the wheelchair game.
Yes,
you're an OG.
You can say that.
I barely got 13 years. I'm barely even starting, right?
Yes.
Okay, Sam. So where are you from originally, Sam?
Originally, I'm from Africa, Nigeria, to be specific.
Okay.
I was born there in a very small village, and I came to the U.S. when I was almost 30 years old when I got to this country.
Oh, okay,
and I came straight down to San Diego.
What year was that?
2000, to be specific.
2000 you came here?
Correct.
Okay, so I've never been to Africa. All I see is movies.
Yes.
And they try to make Africa look scary, right? I've
Yes.
never seen a movie where Africa is not scary. What is Africa like? You know, first of all, having polio at 4 years old, being in Africa.
Yes.
You know, me, man, I could say being from this country, we get a lot of help.
Absolutely.
I never bought my wheelchair. You guys, if I bought a wheelchair, it was because I really, really needed to. But we're in the country where I'm blessed where they provided a wheelchair.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What's it like being in Africa and having polio? You know, because we have these misconceptions of what Africa is like.
Correct. Fortunately for me, I grew up in the city compared to a lot of people with disability that grows up in the village. And it's a huge difference growing up in the village or in the city.
Okay.
That being said, I never owned my own wheelchair until I was about 19 years old. So we're talking about all these years, from 4 years old to about 16, I was crawling on the ground. I never had a wheelchair. I got my very first crutches because my right leg is fairly strong. I can stand up for a little bit. So I got my very first crutches, the wooden crutches, and I could stand a little bit, 16 years old. But when I was about 19, when I got my very first wheelchair, and the place is not accessible, you know, in Africa, it's mostly dirt.
Okay.
You know, so to be able to maneuver a chair on dirt, it's difficult. You know, yes.
Yeah.
It's
you get stuck.
It's not like US where everywhere is paved and you can just slide through it.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing. Africa, I miss some part of Africa. I'm not gonna lie. It's not everything about Africa that I hate.
Right,
there are some part I miss my food. You know.
I bet.
I think the food is delicious.
You think it's the best, huh? I'm Mexican. Most Mexicans think we're the best food.
So
too,
yeah.
I know,
but I miss the food. I miss the people. You know, it's more communal, as you know, as a Mexican. You know, people come together.
Right.
I miss that part of Africa.
Man.
But the part where people look at you, look down on you. You know, in Africa, you have a disability, they believe you're not going to become anything in life. Some people spit at you when they walk past you because there is a taboo, there is a tradition, you know, that says because you have a disability, you must have been cursed.
Oh, okay. So it's not, so it's like you deserved it.
Correct. So people don't want to associate with you. People want to spit at you. People want to kick you when they walk past you.
No way.
Seriously.
Okay. So hold on, bro. So you said you didn't get in a wheelchair until you were 19?
Correct.
So you, and the wooden sticks, you got them at what age?
16 years old.
So from 4 to 16, you were on your hands?
And my knees crawling. My clothes were always dirty. My pants always have holes in it because you're dragging yourself and the materials in your clothes will just rip and rip.
Right,
all of my clothes has holes in it.
Dang, bro. Okay, so, man, you're tripping me out. That's crazy. Okay, well, what is that's where I'm stuck. Okay, you just got me stuck right now because the fact that you said that you're not seeing like, oh, poor guy here, he's in the wheelchair, help him out. Over there, you're seeing like, don't even talk to him.
Correct.
Right?
Some
like,
people think you're contagious. They think whatever you have is going to come to them.
Speak about polio. So polio, I was doing some research, right?
Yes.
And one of the top 5 reasons why you would end up in a wheelchair is polio.
Correct.
Now in the States, from what I know, you guys, polio is kind of taken care of already. There's a vaccine, or there's other stuff that you need to kind of prevent it, or kind of like Forrest Gump. If you've seen Forrest Gump, that's what it was, right? Explain a little bit, what is that? What do you know about polio?
Polio is a virus. They said over 50 years, way over 50 years in US, not even one victim of polio. The Rotary Club have been very effective. They go all over the country. The last few countries that still had polio was Nigeria, Pakistan, Afghanistan.
They said the Middle East was one of the big ones.
Yes, these are the countries that still got polio. Polio, it's a virus. I think it has to do with contaminated water or contaminated food. That is how you get it. I got it when I was 4. I was born in a remote part of Nigeria because they don't have access. There was no road, no proper road. The cars cannot take the vaccine down there. Even if they can,
it's a mission.
Our society is so corrupt that they will want to sell the vaccine or something else. So it didn't get to me. And at the time when I contracted polio, it affects the muscles in your legs. It affects the muscles in your hands. They don't grow normally. My left leg, they said, is the size of a 7-year-old right now. That is the size of my leg, that tiny, because it attacks the muscles. Some kids, it affects their lungs. A lot of kids died because it affected their lungs. I was lucky. Yes. I was lucky. Both my hands are strong.
Yeah, your hands look good.
It didn't affect my hands, but it affected both of my legs. And millions of people in my country suffer from this virus, polio. You see, thousands of people on the streets begging. Most times, that is where most people with disability end up, on the streets begging.
That's crazy, man.
It's a sight you don't want to see.
Yeah. Most people here in the States, I got shot when I was 19. I was involved in gangs, and it's part of it. I just didn't think I was gonna be paralyzed. I thought I was gonna go to jail for a long time, because that's what happens to gang members, or you're gonna die.
Correct.
But I never saw this, right? And so what's it like being on your hands from 4 to you said 16 again?
16.
Man, bro, like what's that? A lot of, like I was gonna say, a lot of the reasons why people end up like this here is because of car accidents.
Correct.
It wasn't because the food was contaminated, the water, or the medicine wasn't able to reach to you, bro. Like, man, me growing up here, going to regular high schools, regular middle schools, we know how bad kids could be to those kids that look like they're special.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, we could be mean, bro. Me, I remember seeing kids that were like that, and I would feel bad for them. I was never the one like, you're in the wheelchair. It was more like, what did you do to deserve it?
Yes. Yes.
Like, what did your parents do? What did you do? Like this is not even fair. That's how I see it, bro. It's not even fair.
Anthony, I tell you why I like what you're doing. This is awareness. I love awareness. Awareness is educating the kids, letting the kids know that, see, there are people with disabilities, and you got to understand why they are on a wheelchair, or why they use crutches. Back home is different because they don't do that. They they don't make people to be aware that, see, this is not contagious. Polio is not contagious
It's not.
at all.
Not contagious, you guys, all right?
Yes, it's not. So some people think if you touch the person with polio, you will get it. That is not true. Not to talk about the customs and traditions, like I said earlier, how people associate it with a curse, making you think you deserve being on a wheelchair, making you think, I don't want to associate it because I don't want those voodoos that got you to get me.
Yeah.
All of these customs and traditions it's not helping us. Awareness is what we need to create in my own country and most third world countries. They need awareness.
They do.
That's why I love what you're doing.
Man, thank you, bro.
Yes.
You know what's funny, Sam? I'm on Facebook too, right? There's a spinal cord injury page, and I'm on TikTok as well. And I posted my story on it, and I posted how I'm also on Spotify, right? I'm also on Spotify doing this type of thing, but not in person.
Okay.
And this is the uncomfortable topics about this, bro. This guy from Africa, I'll show you the messages in a little bit. He's messaging me because he's like, hey man, he's like, I'm trying to hook up with a woman.
Oh yeah.
He ended up in a car accident. Over there, he ended up in a car accident. No polio, nothing. He actually ended up in a car accident.
Yeah.
And he's asking me, what can I take, man? What can I do? I'm like, and when he messaged me, bro, for some weird reason, it made my day. Because I'm like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We're men. We want that affection as well. And he's like, what can I take? What can I do? And I'm like, all right, bro, check it out. Do this. Have you done this? No. Okay, do this. I'm like, if this don't work, let me see how I can help you, bro. I'm gonna send you something from here. There's so many stuff you could use here to help you perform as a man, bro.
Correct.
Right? So in Africa, the fact he's like, I can't even get Viagra over here. Like, it's very hard. He's like, I don't even know if it's real Viagra. so I know, right? So I'm like, man, what was it like, bro? Like, just dealing with being on your hands and being in a culture where you're just neglected. You're like, basically nobody even wants to help you.
I started a nonprofit. It's called Pro Extreme, which is Project Extreme. Okay. Why I call it Project Extreme is because the X stands for people that have been X'd. That's one of the things that I was deprived. It's different. Yours, you experience it maybe when you're an adult.
I was 19.
Correct. Okay, 19. I was 4.
Yeah.
So my disability is different part of my life compared to yours.
Absolutely.
And, you can say, some people say, okay, I have been able to adapt better than some people because I have experienced every stage, But I have an advantage in some ways compared to some people. Even in the disabled world, you find out that you can do some things even better than some.
Bro.
Yes. The fact that I can also use my crutches to stand up and get something, I found out that I can reach and help people that cannot stand up with the crutches.
Yeah.
So also, some of the girls are attracted to people that are good looking. It doesn't matter if you're on a wheelchair. So they're more attracted to people that are better looking than some.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I got into wheelchair sports, which obviously you know that.
Yeah.
So the fact that I got into wheelchair sports.
That was in Africa or here?
It is in Africa.
Oh, so they do have wheelchair basketball. They do have all that stuff?
Actually, I was 16 when I got into it. I was one of the pioneers that started wheelchair sports in Nigeria.
Nice.
Yes. A few
I
of us.
didn't even know that.
You didn't know that?
Fuck no. Hell yeah, bro.
I was a pioneer. First wheelchair games in Nigeria, I took part in it. I did wheelchair racing, 100 meters, 200 meters. I did the shot put. I did discus. I did javelin. Because I wanted to try them all. I was excited about the idea of wheelchair sports.
So you were 16 when you saw the wheelchair first time ever?
Correct.
What the fuck?
16 years old.
That's crazy, bro.
Yes.
That's
when I sat on a wheelchair and competed, 16 years old. So you can imagine, we know when you do sports, it's a little more prestigious than people that don't do it. So when you get athletic, you can imagine when I started winning medals and coming back home, sometimes international sports, come back home, and the president of my country will come and shake hands with you. People are seeing you on TV. It changes the way they saw people with disability.
So you went from we don't even want to touch him
Correct.
to the president is shaking your hand, bro.
Correct. You got that.
Your whole country was like, that's part. I guess that's how the culture is, but how it turned.
Yes.
That's crazy. That's impressive. That's impressive, bro. That's man. I give you so much props, bro. I was 19, barely in the chair, bro. I didn't have to worry about none of that. I didn't have to worry about insurance. I didn't have to worry about Social Security. I didn't have to worry if I was going to get a chair. My worries were childish. Like, I was just worried about my gang stuff and if girls were going to like me.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried if I'm going to get a wheelchair, bro.
Wow.
Like where am I going to get a wheelchair from? That wasn't even a thought, bro. So from going from you're crawling on the ground, you see a sports wheelchair, you get on it, and you're just hooked.
Yes.
Hooked.
But I was hungry for it, Anthony. I was hungry to change things for me. My life was horrible as a kid.
Man.
First time when I realized that I contracted polio, I told my mother. My mother cried. She cried every day and every night. You know what my uncle did? He was the only graduate in my entire village. So he was one. They listened to him. He said, let's take this kid away from the mother. If not, she's going to die or he's going to die. So he decided to he took me and left me in an orphanage, ways away. 4 years old, because I contracted polio. I was there. First thing I experienced was the names. Those names I was talking about. It started with the matron, and it started with people that were supposed to take care of me and love on me. They were calling me names like small leg, names like cripple, names like bastard. They started it. Then others started calling me those names. And I hated those names.
What the
You know, today I go to schools, even here in America, and I try, like the awareness I'm talking about. I've been to over 355 schools in this U.S.
You should be in all of them.
In 3 states, I know.
You should be going to all of them. That is, keep going.
And I tell the kids, you know what? Bullying, they should stop it. Any kid that is bullying, especially when you see people with disability, it hurt me when I was being called all these names. I hated it.
Yeah, you got my lady over there crying and shit. That's bro. It hurt. I felt it, bro. I felt it, and he's not doing it on purpose. But man, when you're being so raw about it, bro.
Yeah.
So me, man, I didn't even. Now you made it to me. You made it even the story a little bit sadder because now you were abandoned by your family. Yeah. So it wasn't like you were forward with your mom and your dad. No. It was he's sick. We gotta basically get. I didn't even want to say it.
Yes.
I didn't even want to say get rid of him, bro. But that's literally what they did.
I was one of the lucky ones, Anthony. To be frank, the way they got rid of me is different from when I was at home. I saw people that came because they were on the railroad, hoping that the train was going to run on them and kill them. Somebody picked them and brought them to the home. I know a guy named Moses. They saw him in the bush screaming and crying because the mother saw that he has a disability and left him in the bush. So they picked him up and they named him Moses and they brought him to the home I grew up. 32 of us grew up in this orphanage. And besides the name they were calling us, they used to starve us. The only way we could survive in that orphanage was donations. People bring food, people bring money. And they thought, well, if these people look well nourished, people will not feel sorry for them. So they were starving us. We have bags and bags of food in the storage. They locked it up and they refused to give to us.
It's like they didn't want to give you guys even a chance.
No. They wish we were dead than alive.
Yeah, might as well say it. Yeah. Might as well say that shit, bro.
I went through a lot. I ate flowers just to stay alive. We lost 1 or 2 people that died in that orphanage because they were so hungry.
The malnourished, basically.
Correct. I ate flowers to stay alive. You know, these are some of the things that I went through. I was hungry to change my life. You got to be hungry, Anthony.
Oh yeah.
You know how it is. Even when you saw that you cannot use your legs anymore, you know how hungry you were to change the way things
I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different. I was like because I was thinking like a gang member. You just what's important is not important.
Correct.
Like when you're in the streets, what should be important, your future, your freaking credit score. What are you gonna do in 10 years? We're not thinking about 10 years. We're thinking about who we're gonna kick it with the next day. We're thinking about the weekend. That's how far we're thinking.
Wow.
Just the weekend. What are we gonna do on the weekend? We're gonna go kick it, do this, do that. I was thinking about what I'm gonna wear next weekend.
Wow. I
Petty
was
stuff.
always thinking of what to eat. Hunger. If I could see a meal in a day, I was a happy kid.
Man,
And the next day, if I could see a meal, I was a happy kid. That was all I cared about.
that's crazy. That's a tough life, man. Some of us here complain over dumbass stuff, bro.
Yeah.
I think we were saying that last time. Some of us here complain about the most dumbest things, bro.
Yeah.
Like dumbest things that are like, at the end of the day, you're not even gonna be mad about it in a few hours.
Correct.
Being hungry, that's an everyday thing.
Yeah.
That was an everyday thing for you. That's crazy, man. So you basically, your family became the orphanage.
Correct. All the people I grew up with, they became my brothers and my sisters. I got to know them. I got to love them.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know where my family was, you know, because I cried the first day. I cried the second day. I tried to run out of the place, and they caught me and they brought me back.
And you remember all that?
I-
like at 4 or 5 years old?
I remember them all. You know, I do remember because I was desperate. You know, I was desperate to. I grew up. My mom loved me when she had me. She had me through a C-section,
Okay.
which is not common. That is not a common thing.
In Africa?
In Africa, it's not common at all.
Okay.
So if you have somebody with C-section, they think something is wrong again, which is the traditions and the customs I was talking about.
Trip out.
But my mom loved me dearly, held me close to her, you know, always very careful until I now contracted polio again. So
And you never saw her again.
Actually, I did. You will be surprised I did.
Man, speak on that. Okay, how
At
did that work?
16, I was in school. They were calling the names of all the students. Usually teachers call the name of all the students. And Paul, Anthony, Maria. You will say present when they call the name. A new student was in class that day and they called my name. And I said present. Do you know, during the break, he came to me and said, I'm your cousin. My cousin, yeah. He said, my dad told me a story. This is the name he said. He took a kid to an orphanage and he left the kid there. And truly, this was my
Your uncle that left you in
my uncle's son was that kid.
Wow.
Went back home, told the uncle. The uncle said, yeah, let me go see him. Came and saw me, met me now, persuaded the orphanage that I had parents and they want to take me to go see them. I saw my mom again for the first time. I saw 4 girls, all my sisters, they said, introduced them to me for the first time.
What?
3 boys, 8 of us. Then I saw my mom. She danced. I mean, Anthony, she danced and danced and danced when she saw me. One of the biggest honor you can give your child in Africa is to take the first layer of your wrapper, put it on the floor for your son to walk on. It's the biggest honor
Wow, okay,
in my community.
Yeah,
My mom
traditions.
did that. Put it on the floor and asked me to walk on it.
Man, bro,
It was
you're making me want to cry, Sam. Keep your composure. Keep your composure, Anthony. No, it's bro, because look, you know, this is what I'm thinking, right? Bro, I used to work with at-risk youth. I've heard so many sad stories. Not in Africa, but of kids that get left in the foster home because mom and dad are on drugs, they're in prison, right?
Yes.
Like they're not even trying to raise their kids. They don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about them. So when you said that, this is what came to mind. How did you feel seeing her? Like, was there any resentment? Were you so happy? Were you confused?
I like that question.
Because look, and this is where it came from, right?
Yeah.
My brother, my sister, I have a sister, right? Her first baby daddy, his dad left him at 5 years old, and he didn't see him again until he was 18. Now, this is the reason why I'm sharing the story, because when my sister had their first son, Andres, the grandpa came to visit him. Came to see his son after 13 years or whatever, and then saw his grandkid, right?
Yes.
My brother-in-law, he was not my brother-in-law no more, but her baby daddy, he grabbed his dad and he told him, "Please don't leave me." It broke my heart seeing him miss his dad. Like the inner child came out of him. And something that came to me when you said, I remember from 5 years old, bro, one thing I learned working with kids, that we get stuck in that mentality where we witnessed trauma.
Yes.
So mine, I learned that mine came like at 9 or 10 years old. I started remembering why I was the certain way I was, because something at that time in my life traumatized me.
Correct.
and it's like it takes away your innocence.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
Right? Because now you gotta be hardened a little bit.
Right.
Now you gotta stand up for yourself. Now it don't matter if I'm crawling on my hands. Something, you can't even hurt me no more. I'm already fucked up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Man, what did you say to your mom? How did you feel?
I'll be lying if I said I was happy when I saw them. No, I'll be lying if I said that. It was a mixed feeling.
Yeah.
Anger, hatred, joy. Surprisingly,
Absolutely.
joy at the same time. I said joy because when I was in the orphanage, I saw relatives of the other kids come to see them. And they will bring them gifts. They will love on them. I was one kid nobody came to see. I was always at the corner, just sitting down, alone, thinking of all kinds of things and longing that I have relatives, people that cared. All I was thinking was, nobody cared about me. You mean nobody cared about me? That was what I was thinking. So when I say joy, it's like I wanted it. I was hungry to be loved. And now I saw this lady call herself my mom, dancing because of me. So that was the joy I felt, and to find siblings that I have, brothers and sisters, things that I was hungry for.
Yeah.
So it was a mixed feeling.
It is, because it looks like now that you made it in a way, now they're here.
Correct.
And that's heavy. That's like, oh, now you want me?
Yes. That's
how can you not feel that? How can you not feel that?
Oh, it's all kinds of feelings that just, I was dumbfounded. No words could come out of my mouth. All I was doing was staring.
Could you call her mom?
Looking.
How long did it take you to call her mom? Because that's not...
It took a while. Actually, it was not even the first time I saw her. It's not even when the second time I saw her. I couldn't call her mom. Because I couldn't, especially my dad. My dad was a little bit nonchalant, don't care much about anything.
Okay.
So I was just looking at them. They talked to me, I just stare, look at them, as if I couldn't even talk, Because
I wouldn't know what to say.
I was trying to absorb, to absorb everything that's happened. Is this a movie? Is this real? All these years? But one fact remained. I could tell this lady loved me dearly.
She missed you.
She missed me dearly. And she said, I knew inside of my heart that you were still alive. They told me you were dead, but I knew you were still alive.
Bro, that's crazy.
It's rough.
Man, hell yeah, it's rough. Like, I'm here. I thought I heard sad stories before. This is crazy. This is heavy, bro. This doesn't just even involve your disability. There's abandonment, bro. Like I said, man, me working with kids, I see what abandonment does to a kid, bro, and they give up. Yeah. And because our culture here is different compared to over there. Over here, when we give up, we get in the streets.
Correct.
We don't give a fuck. And boom, and you're gonna get mixed into anything that's in the streets, because at least they are giving you motivation. Yeah. Some people don't know this, bro, but like me, bro, in my home, I never got motivated to do nothing. I have both of my parents, right? But there was no such thing as, you got it, son, you could do it. I always got recognized for doing bad. Like, oh, you don't have a good grade? What the fuck is that?
Yes. I see.
You failed? Get the fuck up. But if I scored a goal, if I did anything that inside of me made me feel good, it was like,
well,
that's like, it's like saying that's what you're supposed to do. Correct. But we need to hear that, bro. We need to hear a good job. We do need to hear that. Man, that's crazy. So you meet your mom. You're 16. How many sports were you involved in again? I think you mentioned like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I did wheelchair racing, 100 and 200 meters. Then I did field events, shot put, discus, javelin. And I got 5 medals in that competition. Okay. The highest medalist in the entire country.
Fuck yeah.
That was me. I think
we have the highest medalist from Africa here, you guys. And I didn't even know that.
You did? That was how it started. That was how it started for me. And I'll tell you one thing. Somebody gave me strength. Somebody made me believe in myself.
Please speak on that. Yeah.
Because you will be wondering, okay, going through all this, where did you get strength for? Everybody spoke negativity. Everybody was taking life out of me. but one person did, and I'll tell you the person.
Please.
It was when I was desperate to go to school. A small group. There's this small group, church group. They always come and donate food and donate money. They came to us and they said, you know what? Whatever happened to your legs means nothing. You need to educate your mind. And the way you can do that, it's when you go to school, educate yourself. I was excited about school.
We did not like school. we were ditching.
But I felt that was the medium for me to get out of a situation. Because I was looking around, nothing that would get me out of the situation I was. And they said school might be able to get me out of. Before then, it's not even sports. I didn't know about the sports. But when they brought the school, I said I was going to take advantage. I bothered them to take me to school. They finally accepted to take me to school. The school was over a mile away where they registered me.
Okay.
I got up so early, put on my school uniform. You know, in Africa, they have uniform. You all have to dress
in
alike.
Mexico, they have uniforms.
Yes.
Okay.
They sold me a uniform. I put my uniform, ready to go to school. But there was no transportation. Remember, I crawl around. I thought I was going to crawl up the bus and crawl out when I get to school. No transportation. Do you know how I took myself to school?
Please tell me.
I dragged myself for over a mile. With my hands and my knees, with the hot sun, when coming back, going and coming.
The dirt, I mean, the sand, burns, rocks. What the
broken bottles, a lot of broken bottles. It will cut you. It will slice your skin.
Infect you probably if you don't watch out.
Yes. A friend of mine, Sonny, got a nail, went right into his knees. A nail. And they had to take it out. The native traditional way, which is put a knife on the fire and put it right inside the skin to take it out.
She's all like, damn.
And to sanitize it. That is how they used to treat us.
Treat a wound.
Yes. Knife on the skin.
So the burning doesn't stop the bleeding.
Correct.
And hopefully not get infected.
We drag ourselves. I dragged myself for almost 3 years going to school and coming back, dragging myself before they finally got us a school bus to take us to school.
So, okay, so at 16, you're already using wheelchairs, but they're sports wheelchairs. Now, for people that don't know, you can't use a sports wheelchair on a regular day basis.
Correct.
Based on how they're built. So you're not using these chairs to get to school. You probably would be stuck more. You actually probably would be stuck more in the chair than being on your hands.
I was actually, this is not even when I started doing sports. I was talking about 9 years old. That's way before I even saw a wheelchair.
Yes. Oh, wow.
So there was not even, the idea of having a wheelchair wasn't even there.
How long did it take for you, bro? Okay, so a mile in your hands.
My hands.
How early did you have to?
myself. I went early because I know there was no bus. I dragged myself. Sometimes it took me way over 40 minutes. Way over 40 minutes.
Dragging yourself.
You know, sometimes I try to crawl because I could crawl a little faster than normal people. My right leg, I just use it to push myself and go faster. Then when I get tired, I go slowly.
Right.
But I was going back to who spoke.
Yeah, please.
Words of encouragement was when I get to school. There's this lady, my grade 2 teacher. She brought a bowl of water and she said, wash your hands are dirty. And I wash my hands and I will sit down and I will look at her. And she was speaking words. Sam, how are you today? Are you okay? And I thought she was just being polite, that she didn't care about me. So remember, I was this kid, no self-esteem. I was always looking down, never look in the eyes of anybody. I couldn't look at the eyes of my teacher. She was the one that said, Sam, wash your hands. You know, I know it's dirty, and I will see, and I will look, and I will just stare at her a little bit when she's not looking at me. But in Nigeria, I did after 3 years, she would come every day consistently to do that.
To see.
And I would ignore her. But one day, we wanted to write our test. This will make you go to the next class. If you fail, you repeat. She saw I wasn't in class, left about 45 students in class. It was raining. She walked in the rain, came to the orphanage and asked me to climb on her back because she knew I couldn't crawl
in the rain.
In the rain and the flood and everywhere. Took me to school. That was when I knew this lady genuinely loved me.
Fuck yeah.
And I told her all the things they were doing to me in the orphanage. That was when I opened up to her, because I said, one person actually loved me. I spoke these words, and she said, Sam, I've always loved you. Always loved you. Remember that. Only thing I want you to promise me, Sam, you will never give up in life. That was the lady I promised I will never give up.
God bless her, bro.
Man, she changed my life.
She made me cry right now.
It's okay. She changed my life, and I think of it, I get teary eyes too.
Yeah.
Because if not that lady, I would have been soaked in my depression and sadness and all that.
She spoke life into you, bro.
She spoke life to me.
She saw you dying spiritually.
Yes.
Physically, you were struggling, but spiritually, she saw you dying.
Yeah.
Man.
And it's not, unfortunately, not everybody had the opportunity to hear words like that. Some of the people I grew up with, they're still with bitterness and anger and hatred, and they're still in the orphanage, surprisingly, as I speak with you now.